When the lockdown was declared, it happened all of a sudden, and there was a wave of shock through society. So, the Punjab University Alumni Association, which has a huge membership base, I got a couple of calls from members who said that at this point of time, more than necessities and physical support, people are going to need emotional and mental support. So, we thought of starting a helpline, talked to a few members. Then everyone suggested that let's do it on a voluntary basis. And since nobody could move out of their homes, so it was very clear that we'll have to do it through our own phones. So then we sent a message across to all our members how many of you would like to participate in such a helpline and contribute. So I'm very glad to say that we had a huge response. But after that, when we started looking at the reality of the situation, for example, you're going to use your own phone, how many hours a day can you do the counseling? We were left with around 75 active people. So, with those 75, we started this talk to Punjab University Alumni Association helpline.
If we talk about the beneficiaries of the helpline, what kind of students or other persons call on this number?
Now, initially, why did we think of this? It was because on campus we have an NGO called Social Substance, which is run by Mr. Arun Bansal. He gave me a call and he said that, do you know, our students are under extreme stress because their exams had not happened. They were worried they might lose a year or a semester. Then the other category was senior citizens living alone. We were concerned about them because you see, having nobody at home to talk to and turn to. The third category were, married couples who were now together 24/7 and had to manage the house by themselves without any outside help. So that also led to a stressful situation. Looking at these groups of people, all of us felt that there should be some kind of hand-holding available, some kind of support where a person can go and unburden, relax, talk, take guidance and counseling. So that was our idea.
And then as we see the depression is going on again on the students' perspectives, if we talk about all the parents or the young couples as you told us, the depressed students who are willing to end their life, such kind of calls are also received from your side.
Yeah, there were a couple of calls from young students, especially plus two, who were worried about their exams and the outcome. And they said, I don't want to live. Now, that was a very, very dangerous situation. So, there were one or two cases where our members kept in touch with the child all through the night and then in the morning got in touch with the parents and then asked the parents to take care. Because you see, the biggest problem in our society is that we tend to think that depression is something that can just go away. Sometimes it doesn't just go away, especially if you're talking about clinical depression. That means you need a proper treatment regimen, you need drugs, you need a person who monitors you, and most of all, you must have somebody with whom you can talk, where you can converse, and you can convey what is in your mind. So that was the requirement here. And that is the gap which we tried to fill. Of course, you see, out of these 75, hardly 25 to 30% are trained counselors. But we felt that the others can at least help people unburden and then they can talk to the trained counselors. Okay, this is a problem. How can we help you? For instance, Professor Seema Vinayak from the Department of Psychology, she also stepped in. And many times we took guidance from her.
One last question, ma'am. Currently, what is the status of your helpline?
Currently, you see, since things have opened up and now people are not locked up at home, so for the time being, we put the helpline in the background. Of course, the group continues because all the members are deeply committed and they feel that they are ready in case any such situation arises, or as you know, that emotional and mental stress is not just because of lockdown, there could be other factors too. So on our campus, we regularly run counseling sessions in the hostels. So those would continue once the students are back. And of course, we are always available for our students, even at this point of time when things are so uncertain. So the helpline is not very active now, but it's definitely there, ready to step in if required.
Actually, we were already into this work of counseling post-retirement. A few of my colleagues, they had started this group where we visit various schools and university for counseling the students as far as their daily problems are concerned. But by the time this lockdown started, Punjab University Alumni Association decided to have this thing, and since it was a connected college and they knew about it, so I was sent an invite that if I am interested, I can join their organization. So I joined PUAA to help out in this, and they put me for counseling of students, or for that matter, any person, Generally, nothing specific, because specifically they have doctors and other people also. So for medical issues, if somebody calls me up, I refer them to one of the people in the panel. Or very serious cases, like once we had a call, I didn't have personally, but a member had a call that a person wants to commit a suicide. Then a professional person who's already into this professional counseling associated with PGI, he was referred. But for normal day-to-day problems, depression problems, we do try to help. I do try to help.
What kind of students or couples or any person called you for their queries or regarding depression? Or
Actually, I think looking at our society, very few people, they try to give you a call. They hardly give you a call, though a wide publicity was made. So I had a few, through that publicity by the organization, I had a few calls from students associated with Punjab University, and a few students, as they knew that I'm from MCM, they just contacted me. Then, at random also, like I'll call up my friend, evening, I make it a point to call up a few people because I know this problem is existing. They'll suddenly come out कि आजकल हमें बड़ा घबराहट सी हो रही है, मुझे डर सा लग रहा है. Then I'll try to counsel them. I'll try to call them up regularly, so that without saying that I'm trying to counsel them, the situation is diffused and they are in a happy state of mind. In the neighborhood, if somebody is saying like that, if I come to know that they are talking like this, so I'll just walk over, like evening, people do try to move out for a few seconds outside their houses on the road. So I'll also walk and उनका हालचाल पूछा, एंड जस्ट से कि चलो आज कुछ अच्छा बना लेते हैं, मैंने आज ये बनाया था, आप क्या बना रहे हो, एंड ट्राई टू क्रिएट दैट enthusiasm. And a few of my friends genuinely, once they realize that evenings I'm preparing special snacks during lockdown, so that because it's just me and my husband, we are senior citizens, he's also retired, otherwise it can be very depressive for both of us, and we have a very hectic social life otherwise. So at home only we try to do it, and just open a bottle of wine and two of us sitting and enjoying. So when I tell them, they get enthusiasm, and many of them now they tell me, आज हमने ये बनाया था, आपके घर भी भेजूं, and one or two sent me a dishes also. So I found that indirectly I'm able to give them a support. For children, it was more difficult. For these maids, drivers, and class 4 employees, it was very, very difficult situation, and handling them was much more difficult.
How much